Hi guys, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and we've got a Wee Wednesday report coming to you, a knife review. Sorry that it's a little bit late. I've had a very busy few days and I didn't get this done on time. It is Wednesday morning and I'm doing the recording now. Then I got to do the editing and upload this and get it to you before the end of the day. So I'm rushing it. Here we go. This is the Tonife Squirrel Kydex Sheath 7CR17 MOV Real G10 fixed blade neck knife review for you. Are you interested at all? I've got two of them, a green one and a black one. They come in other colors as well. $12.50 US at Gear Best. I think you're interested. I think you want to stick around. Hang on. We're going to do a full review of this wee knife. Tonife is one of the newer brands that's come around. Its parent company is Flyer, which is the same parent company that makes the Harnds knives. So Tonife will have some similarities with those kinds of Harnds knives. Model number for this knife is HK2018. And then they've got two letters after the 2018, which are the color designation. GN for the green, BK for the black, WS for the gray, BU for blue, RD for red. I think those are the only 5 colors that they have. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think the red one actually has a light khaki tan kind of color Kydex sheath, and the rest have the same color sheath as the G10 on the handle. I could be wrong. They might be doing a red Kydex sheath now on the red one as well. We're talking about a small knife. We're talking a knife that costs $12.50 at Gear Best. That's US dollars. It should be a low price knife, but I can't quite see how they get it down to that price when they're using genuine G10. They're using genuine Kydex. Of course, they're not using very much of either. They're using real steel rivets or steel ring rivets. I think those are called rivets of some kind to put that together. Of course, this chain necklace thing is going to be very cheap. 7CR17 MOV steel for the blade. That's not going to be very expensive. They got these tubes instead of pins. Tubes cost more than pins to put the knife together. So that's got a little bit of an expense to it. And so, you know, the knife isn't terribly cheap to make, and yet we've got a really good price on this knife. Let's get some of the specs out of the way. All in, when you get this knife, you've got your sheath, your chain, and the blade, the handle and everything. There is no lanyard such as the one that I'm touching right now that comes with the knife. It doesn't come with that at all. It doesn't come with this, it doesn't come with a tiny one like this either. So you've got your chain, sheath, blade, knife, handle. 1.9 ounces, 55 grams. Just the knife itself, without the sheath, and no lanyard here, is 1.3 ounces, about 38 grams. So it's a nice light little thing, 13 grams for the sheath itself. So it's not very much to carry this thing around. The knife itself is, we've got 1.5 inches for a cutting edge, which is 4.4 centimeters. That's from the end of this choil to the tip of the blade. The entire knife, I didn't measure how long the whole thing is. We're looking at about 12 centimeters, just under 5 3/4 inches from tip to the very apex of the handle here. So not an awful big knife, quite small. It's actually a 2-finger hold for me, and then you've got your pinkies coming in there. And so it's a small knife to handle in your hand. I've thought of 2 different ways to hold this. Well, there's 3 different ways. You can just hold it bare the way it is. I didn't find that to be very secure, so I tried just putting a tiny little lanyard on like this. And the main way I like holding this one is I put my 2 fingers in like that, add my third one, and I wrap this lanyard between my pinky and my third finger, and it's pretty secure that way. This knot comes out on that side right there, and I found that to be quite secure in my hand for any cutting that I was doing, and I really like this grip an awful lot. The other way that I like to hold this knife, and I am just terrible at tying lanyards, so I just tied a bunch of knots. And so that's another way to hold the knife. You rip it out of your, if you're wearing it as a neck knife, you just tear it out, grab it, and you're good to go holding it. 2 fingers on the knife, 2 fingers on that paracord lanyard there, and you're ready to go to use the knife. The thumb can come up on this jimping. You got 3 little jimps. Or is that 2 jimps? Do you count the humps or the holes? The little trenches or the bumps? I don't know. Which one's the jimp? And, you get your thumb in there, and it does pretty good cutting. The hollow grind is done well, so you got mostly a belly, a little bit of flat there. 7CR17 MOV is very much like 440C. No. I take that back. I keep missaying that. It's a lot like 440A, which is the same thing as saying 440. 440 and 440A are the same thing. So it's definitely a introductory level steel. It's a budget steel. You'll have to do a fair bit of maintenance on it. It takes an edge pretty easily, no problem at all. You've got a drop point, a nice swedge on both sides. Tip's pretty strong. Cuts fairly well. Anything I tried cutting, EDC type of tasks, worked just fine, no problem at all. And I enjoyed using this knife an awful lot. The thickness of the blade here is just over 3 millimeters on the blade stock, 0.125 inches thick. So it's got a hefty kind of steel for the size of cutting edge you have, and it cuts well. The handle with these dramatic choils for the size of the handle give you a great sense of security in the hand. The sharpener's choil there allows you to sharpen right to the end, and it looks good when it's nice and sharp. They've got their name etched into the blade right there, Squirrel 7CR17 MOV. I've got a close-up camera that GearBest sent to me, and so I'll put in some close-up shots. I'll intersperse them in this video in a few places of this knife. I kind of like trying that thing out on this knife. So that's the basics of this thing. Who wants to have a neck knife? I don't know. Do you want to have a neck knife? I've generally not carried neck knives. Why? I don't know. I just never really got into them. But I'm trying them out now, and I'm finding that I kind of enjoy it. I don't want to get into a debate about neck knives and if they're safe or unsafe. This little chain here, if it's strong enough to hang you and choke you or not. Each of you guys is smart enough. You can make up your own mind. You don't need a safety police. You don't need a reviewer to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. That being said, I'm making you aware of options. There are lanyards. Here's a lanyard that I got from Kershaw. Some of them, this one doesn't, but some of them have this breakaway tab so that after you put 20 pounds of pressure, whatever, on it, it'll pop open and fall off your neck. Of course, that has got the positive of not being able to choke you to death, but it's got the negative of if it comes loose, you might lose your knife out in the wilds of the Rocky Mountains or wherever you are. So there's advantages and disadvantages to different ways of wearing the neck knife. I've got something coming up. I've ordered a utility clip. Those of you guys who are into guns, you know what utility clip is, or if you don't know, you probably should become aware of what utility clip is. I'm trying to think of a way of putting a knife like this as a pocket knife, using a utility clip or something similar to hold this sheath in my pocket. And then this knife is a pocket knife, and I can pull it out and use a fixed blade without having a belt sheath, instead having a pocket way of carrying a knife. I think that's a pretty cool idea. And in the next month or so, hopefully in February, I'll be able to demonstrate on this knife and perhaps some other knives, some smaller fixed blades, how that works. There's all kinds of different ways of carrying knives, and I want to explore more of them because I think little knives like this have a place. And I think this little knife is a knife that shouldn't be overlooked. You know, at the price point that it's at, it's a knife that's worth experimenting with, in my opinion. You're using up $12.50. It's not an awful lot of money, and I think it's worth trying out. So, what do I think of this knife? I think it's a buy. I think it's a good buy. I think I would like to see it made available in a better steel. Not that this is a bad steel, but it's not, it's not a great steel by any stretch. I'd like to see it in a better steel, and I'd like to see myself learn how to tie proper lanyards. We'll see if that comes about or not. So in any case, I'm going to show you a little bit of demonstration on how well these things cut, if I can get it to cut, that is. Oh, it didn't cut that bad. The black one is the one that I've been testing with mostly. I've been playing with this guy quite a bit, and as you can see, it's been cutting paper just fine. That's after I've done a fair bit of testing. I've had this knife for a while. I bought one from GearBest, and I was given one from EDC Vault, which is a Canadian vendor on Amazon.ca. He's selling mostly Ganzo knives right now, but he's getting into some other brands. I don't think he's got these in stock right now, but if he gets them in stock again, I would suggest that you can get them from him. Well, there you go. That cut through that without a problem. I didn't have to try very hard. Whoa, that slices really well. I hadn't cut paracord with this knife yet. As you can see, it's that 7-strand 550 paracord. Cuts through that really well. Let's see how well it cuts through. This is inch-wide banding used for molly cutting. And, inch-wide on a 1.5-inch knife, you haven't got much room left for cutting. Zip through that, no problem. Not perfect, but definitely worth $12.50. I think it's worth twice that amount. If you're interested in this knife, I suggest that you go find a place to get it. Check out EDC Vault just in case he has it in stock. There will be a link in the description below. I will also have a link to GearBest where you can buy this. If you buy from my links at GearBest or Amazon, I will get a tiny commission that helps to support this channel. For those of you guys who don't know, I've been living on a disability pension for about 5 years now. And so if I can get a little bit of income to help me pay for some of the knives, that'll help keep this channel going. I appreciate that very much, every little help that I can get. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, regardless of if you like the knife or not, if you like this video, please click on like. Share this video with anybody you think might be interested in these small knives. And comment. The comment section is my favorite part of doing this whole YouTube channel thing. So share your comments, your questions, and anything else that you'd like to talk about. I'd appreciate that an awful lot. Remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, the other guy, and not your thumb. Bye now.